This is my 8-month update for Korean immersion learning. Now I look like, my hair looks stupid and I look like I'm flipping big toe, but immersion has gone great and that's all that matters for the time being. But in this video, I'll mention some stats, meaning my hours tracked and my Anki cards, thoughts on my current level, how I immerse. Basically, that's just me saying what I do for active immersion, passive immersion, and sentence mining, and then content recommendations. And then there's timestamps in the description just to make it easy if you want to skip to any of them. So the stats. So in front of me I've got the picture that you'll probably see on the screen. It seems that we've done 1,079 hours. Woo! I mean, I think on the last one, I think I did. I think when I posted the 4-month, I think I was on 500 and something. So I'm pretty sure I've gotten 500 more, which is what I said I want to do in the last one, which is a dub. And we have tracked, it says drama 11 hours, live stream 149 hours, other 14 hours, series 54 hours, variety show 118 hours. God damn. Wait, 818. 818. God. YouTube 30 hours. So I'm just going to explain like what I mean by like other, series, drama. It's simple, but I'll just explain so it makes sense and like basically how I track. So for drama and film, now I haven't watched any films yet, but they will come under the same category of scripted speaking. Basically, this style of content is not natural speaking. It's still Korean, but it's not the personal natural response or reaction to what someone may say in a situation. The director is telling them what to say. So I try to immerse myself in more natural speaking content. Now, by personal natural content, I just mean like, say someone in English said something to me, and then I respond with my natural way of speaking. So like everyone has a different way of speaking. So I want to watch more natural speaking content instead of scripted speaking, where yes, it's still Korean, but they're reading the script on what to say in that moment. So I try to immerse myself in more natural speaking content, those being variety show, live stream, series, and YouTube. So these come under the natural speaking content. I like to track YouTube as its own because there are so many videos on YouTube that have good quality. So I believe for me, it needs to be tracked as its own piece of content. I'm reading here, but I'm flipping stupid. Yeah, I believe tracking YouTube as its own piece of content. I like to do that because a lot of videos do have good quality, and it's just them naturally speaking. As for other, so the best way I can explain what type of content I track as other is idle content, where the audio quality may be bad, there may be music playing in the background, they may not speak as much, but enough for me to track, and many other reasons. But I like tracking this type of content still because I say to myself, if a native Korean watched this video, they will be able to understand what they are saying no matter how bad the quality is. That's why I still think it's worthy to track. And also, it's not throughout the whole video that the audio quality is bad, there's music. It's just in some parts there may be. So yeah, that's why I track it as other. But say for example, an idle content video was really good quality where they had mics on the whole way through, then I would like track it as YouTube. For me, I like the idea of tracking this because, in general, I like the idea of tracking and in this way. Because in the future, if someone says to me, your way of speaking sounds very natural and native, which would be unbelievable, then I can look back on what I've immersed in and be like, oh, there's probably a reason because I sound like this, because I immerse myself in more natural speaking content. And also, I think it'll be good to show anyone in the future who is learning Korean, because they may be like, how is your Korean so good? And then I can just be like, well, this is what I immersed in. So if my thoughts are still the same, then I would just recommend to immerse in similar stuff. And just another example on why I think it's good to track what you immerse in. Say I was doing a lot of reading, and then I go to output and I'm extremely bad. I can look at what I've immersed in, and if I've done more reading than listening, instead of being annoyed and questioning why, it's probably because I've not done enough input, because I've done more reading than listening. And because I'm not doing reading and won't do reading, I'll just put it in like my context. Say I did more content that I track as other compared to natural speaking content, then if my output is bad, it's probably because I haven't got good quality content if I watched more content that I track as other. With my Anki cards, I think showing my Anki cards isn't valuable because it's too complicated. All this tells you, you'll see it on the screen, all this tells you is how many Anki cards I have, not how many Anki cards I know in my deck. All the suspended cards that you see were mature cards. I have suspended those now because in my 4-month update video, I mentioned I do 30 new cards daily. Crazy. And a lot of those cards weren't I+1. So with the new strict rule that I have for myself, I knew I didn't understand the meaning fully of those cards, the ones that weren't I+1. So I ended up suspending them. And still, the 3,377 mature cards you see on the screen, a lot of them I will most likely suspend because of the reason I just mentioned, because a lot of them aren't I+1. Thoughts on my current level. I'm still booty cheeks, as expected and to be expected for a long time, but I'm much better than 4-month me. With language learning, you can never really explain your level in the language, so for now, this is all I can say to myself and in this video. A good way I thought I would be able to show my current level in the future, hopefully, is if I understood 5 random videos all the way through and then shared those videos for you to watch so you can compare it to your current level. But I'll mention, so overall, I'm booty cheeks, but I'm much better than 4-month me. Right now, it's just difficult because there's not been multiple videos where I've understood them fully to the point I can show you and then you can compare it. But I will say my favorite video, I'm just going to mention my favorite video out of the whole 8 months. This is my favorite video. So on the screen, this is my favorite video. And I remember watching it close to its release date, and being surprised by how much I actually understood. After a couple months since my first viewing, and having heard it many more times during passive immersion, I've definitely picked up additional words and sentences. However, I'm very happy with how much I can comprehend in that video now, especially considering it's a podcast. Now, with that video, I think what helps is it's UJ-Sok, G-Sok-Jin, and Twice members, where I've immersed in a lot of Twice, and I've immersed in a lot of Running Man. So I feel I'm very used to how they, like their voice. I'm very used to their voice, and I'm used to, let's say, their way of speaking and humor, especially UJ-Sok and G-Sok-Jin's humor. But yeah, and so when I think it was 2 months ago I watched it, and yeah, then First watch, I was very surprised by how much I knew. But then as I passive immersed in it, I definitely picked up words and sentences along the way. But now when I haven't fully rewatched it, but I bet if I fully rewatch it, I would actually be extremely happy with how much I know in the whole video, which is great. But that's my favorite video. Not, well, definitely because of how much I can comprehend, but also just because of the jokes they're having with each other, and the conversations were great and funny. How I immerse / what I plan to continue doing with immersion. For active immersion, I try to immerse in variety content mostly during the day, but if I'm struggling to find something to watch, then I'll watch either a series on Netflix or YouTube content. But if I'm really struggling, then I'll watch a drama or film. And for live streams, I always watch them at the ends of the day, mostly after work. For variety shows, as I kind of mentioned, I try to watch them mostly during the day because it's, for me, it's the best form of content because there's a bunch of people, they do a bunch of different things, and it's just good quality, and it's just everything in one. That's why I try to watch it most of the time. But if I struggle, as I mentioned, I'll watch a series, YouTube, or drama or film. And then for live streams, I think for me, I love doing live streams at the end of the day because after work, the person I'll mention who does live streams that I watch, it's like minimum 3 hours. So literally, I put the video on, and then I'm sat there for 3 hours. Literally don't have to move, don't have to do anything. So it's great. For passive immersion, I believe I found the best way for me to get passive immersion hours as much as possible. I download the stream content that I've watched on YouTube and immerse in that. This has been great because the live streams are such long content. I don't have to think about what I'm going to passive immerse in for a longer period of time. And when the time comes to passive immerse, we put the earphones in and we immerse it. Anything else? I think that's it. Just, yeah, because I can't show an example because I'm using my phone to record, but literally all I do is pick up my phone. I have a YouTube widget on my phone, which is literally only like on my front page of the phone. Click the library button, it takes me immediately to playlist, and then I click the live stream and I'm immersing. And then why I think it's good as well, because say the night before I listened to the live stream and I listened to like 2 hours, and then the next morning I listened to the same live stream, it just kicks off from where the 2 hours started. So that's what I mean by you don't have to think about it, it's just there, it's ready, and it's easy. For sentence mining, now I'm gonna probably yap on for, not yap because this is important, but it's just a bigger paragraph than the rest. So me and Migaku have not been buddies for a bit of time. However, my last 2 sessions for sentence mining, we've been best buddies. Migaku has been laggy as hell, but after watching some content on Netflix, it seems that Migaku runs fine on Netflix. So for the past 2 sessions of sentence mining, they have been on Netflix series that I've watched. What I plan to do is continue what I'm doing right now. I sentence mine after work on one day. I try to get 70 new cards so I can do 10 new cards a day. However, the most important thing that I've realized in these 4 months is making every single sentence that you mine I+1. I+1 being I means information that you don't know. I means information that you understand. And the +1 means one unknown word within the sentence that you don't know. My definition of I+1, a sentence worthy of being in my Anki deck, is I must fully understand the meaning of what the person is saying. With the Migaku subtitles, when you summarize the sidebar to just show I+1 sentences, it can give a load of sentences that Migaku says are I+1 for me. But a lot of them, I can still understand. But a lot of them, I still can't understand the meaning of what the person is saying. I can know all the words in the sentence, but they are using. I can understand all the words in the sentence that they are using, but still not understand the meaning. So because of this, it can be very difficult to get 70 new cards. But with the new rule for myself, if I don't get 70 new cards, that's fine, because I would much rather 50 I+1 cards compared to 70 cards that aren't all I+1. I think I mentioned everything in there. Messed up my words a bit there, but I think that's everything I need to say for sentence mining. For Anki, because Anki and sentence mining kind of come as a pair, I've not really got anything extra to say about Anki, but here's an update on what my cards look like, and they'd be on the screen. Content recommendations. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name because I can't. Because I'm so bad. But this is the streamer that I watch. So I've watched Raft, Mario Odyssey, Pokemon, and Kirby. So out of those 4 that I've seen, I'm still currently watching Raft. Out of those 4, what would I say my best, and what would I say my favorite is? I would say Pokemon, but Sword and Shield. The Sword and Shield series. Why? I don't know how to put it in a non-gay way, but she names the Pokemon, and then when you're watching it, you get used to what the Pokemon's names are when she just says it. So when I actually just knew what the Pokemon's names were, when she used them in a sentence, it just made the sentence more comprehensible because I just knew who she was talking about. And because in this one, she kind of keeps the same Pokemon for the whole time, you kind of get a connection with the team, without making it sound like gay, but you get a connection with the team. So, and yeah, with the names, it made it more comprehensible for me, I think. Although, and Kirby, but the first game, that was a really good one and a really enjoyable watch because I felt that I understood quite a bit in it and was able to enjoy it from what I understood, not just the enjoyment of the game or the visuals. And with Raft, yesterday I watched the 4th episode, I think, of Raft, and throughout the whole stream, I think it was 3 hours or something. It was pretty good for comprehensibility, but when she started designing her room, I felt like I was Korean at that point. So in that point, I was actually after she finished her room, I was extremely happy with how much I understood there. But I'm still booty cheeks. And she is basically live every day still now, and she has a bunch of other content. Netflix series. So I've seen Kian's Bizarre B&B, The Hungry and the Hairy, Korea's Number One, and Culinary Class Wars. So for Kian's Bizarre B&B, that was actually really enjoyable because the B&B was funny because it was designed stupidly, and then you get people obviously coming in the B&B, and then interactions with people. That's why I like it the most, because that's why I try to immerse in the most. The Hungry and the Hairy, this was okay, but let's say the hairy guy can be very loud. So it was kind of annoying at some points, but it was nice because it's about them going on a motorbike trips to different places in Korea, and that was nice to see different parts in Korea. But sometimes the hairy guy can be flipping too loud, talking about Netflix. You understand why I did that if you watched it. Korea Number One. This was actually it was okay. The people who they went to see, actually, to be fair, actually no, I did actually enjoy it, because the people who they went to see number one was like older people and like older traditional Korean stuff that they do, but because it involves Yoo Jae-sok, Kwon Soo, and a volleyball player. Yoo Jae-sok and Kwon Soo humor is just the same as it is in Running Man, so it's just enjoyable to watch. And then Culinary Class Wars, that was fine. That was okay. I've got Running Man because I think in these past 4 months I found, because I'm stupid that it took me this long, but I found a great website for all Running Man episodes. So the link down below. Click that link, you'll just get access to all the Running Man episodes. And I say I'm stupid that it took me this long to find it because it's called My Running Man. And it literally took me like 6 months to find it. But I think another thing is it does have permanent English subs when you watch it, but I just use a subtitle blocker to just block them out. Now for two fun ones that I've seen. K-pop Demon Hunters. Now I watched this in Korean dub and it was actually pretty funny because it's a English film. Like the main dub is English. But when I watched it in Korean dub, it was nice because obviously they use Korean terms. They actually make jokes about idols and just make Korean culture jokes, and I actually felt I got a couple of them, which was nice. So I would recommend that. But again, I watched it in Korean dub. And this one, so this one is Squid Game Season 3. Now, I'll mention first thing, Squid Game Season 3 was actually very good. But I want to mention a quick moment that happened when I was immersing. So I think, yeah, last episode, and I'm at the part where the main guy is about to fall off and eliminate himself. So the episode is called Humans Are. So at that point, before he was about to fall off, he goes, "Uri mari anida." So I say it like that because that's when if you watch it, that's how he said it. So at the time when he said that, I must have heard it differently. But I heard it and I was like, I got it. And I thought he said, "These are not my words." So my reasoning for that is because just from my knowledge of Squid Game, I know that the old guy had something to do with the games. And I think just before they revealed that he was the previous boss of the current boss games. So the old guy has something to do with the games. And I remember that the main guy spoke to the old guy after season 1. So when he said those words, I thought he said, "These are not my words," referring to something that the old guy said. So because I thought I got that, thought nothing of it afterwards, I was actually like very happy that I was like, oh, I actually got like a main point in the story. And then I go look at reactions of the end part, and then obviously they've got English subs on, and then they get to that part, and then the sub says, "We are not horses." I'm like, what do you mean we're not horses? Like, and then I'm laughing at the English subs because why the hell would he say we are not horses? And who's, well, like I get we, but like why are we horses, or why are we not horses? So some of the English subs stupid. So then I go back to Netflix and then go back to that episode and then scroll to where I think like the part was, and I kid you not, it paused me on the part where throughout the whole series they were moving horse pieces as the players for the games. And I was like, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. Because what he actually said was, "We are not horses," referring to probably the horse pieces that the boss moved throughout the whole show as the players. So, but like the only reason, like that picture told me, like, okay, he probably did say we are not horses, and I'm stupid. But it's because for season 1 and 2, I didn't understand any of it, so I just didn't think anything of it. But that's just kind of a thing. Is like I may have just been mentioned earlier, like my favorite video, comprehended a lot, like couple stuff, understood quite a bit, extremely happy. But then a moment like that happened in Squid Game, I just completely misunderstood what the guy said, and it's like extremely important. But that was just, yeah. And then here I've got notes from past me during the 4 months. So this one is 23rd of July 2025. It says, "I'm currently in the period of trying to find good content on YouTube or any site." And I remember this because, yeah, I didn't actually use YouTube that much in the first 4 months because it was all Running Man. But yeah, and around July 20th, 2025, I started watching YouTube and noticed I couldn't understand anything. I believe this is because I'm unfamiliar with many content creators there are and haven't watched much content yet. In contrast, with Running Man, I've spent a lot of time with the cast and know how they speak to each other. I'm familiar with their speaking tones and it's just really enjoyable content. So right now, I think that I give YouTube a bit more time. I'll be able to answer my question more clearly. And this is the question. Am I ass at Korean, or am I just not familiar with certain people on there yet? So I haven't actually answered this question, but I'll answer it now. So am I ass at Korean? Yes, you are ass. But I do think with everything that I immerse in, if it's someone new, then I always feel I have to get used to the way they speak until I start understanding them much easier. And obviously, now with YouTube, there can be a video that I just click. It's completely new, and I can understand a couple stuff, which is nice. But overall, I do think at my current level, I still have to get familiar with the way people speak if it's someone new to actually start realizing, like, oh, I do understand them. They just speak a slightly different way, and I just had to get used to it. I've just read one of my other notes, but I think now reading it, it would just make it too confusing because I've just kind of went through my thoughts on my current level and how I immerse. So if I read this, it would just make it too confusing. So that's it.